Moving on to long ball number 3 here on Friday. Santa Rosa, California. Speaking of California, and just the next team. The news came out this week that the city of Santa Rosa, California, has entered into exclusive negotiations with USL to evaluate the viability of supporting pro soccer team and expanding community operations. And I believe there is a stadium exploration in the mix here too. So Santa Rosa joining the ranks of cities across the United States interested in pursuing their own league club. What do you make of this progression or announcement? People are projecting that this would be a USL League One team, but obviously it all depends on the investment group that comes in here, because that was one thing on display in the Open Cup, USL Championship, USL League One. It's essentially just where you've been bought in.
Yes.
But you touched on it before. Why do you think that a Santa Rosa team might be successful?
I mean, when you let's give the state of California or just any state in general. I mean, you have your very rich and wealthy areas, and then you have your areas where, people can't, travel so far or play certain club soccer. In that Santa Rosa area, I have a buddy that scouts in Northern California, and he does a very good job finding players within that, between Sacramento and San Jose. And there is a lot of talent there. It's just, it may not be the wealthiest area, and they may not be able to make to travel all the way down to San Jose to be with the San Jose Earthquakes Academy, or maybe to travel up to Sacramento to be a part of the Sac Republic Academy that plays in MLS next. So Santa Rosa is kind of in that area, and there's a bunch of youth clubs in that area where if they did this right, it would serve the community very well. You could bring up local talent, and, you could create a very interesting USL League One team. And when you get in the mix and when Pro Rel starts in USL, that, you can maybe potentially bump your way up into championship and then USL Division One and make something interesting of it. And then, and then work the cup sets in there and in between and everything. So, but the state of California is so large. You have these pockets that, are just talent that's undiscovered, or, people kind of ignore a little bit. So, it's interesting because as I was doing the research of Santa Rosa coming in, it's potentially the 7th USL team in there, because you have Santa Barbara Sky coming into USL Championship next year, which will play at UCSB, that'll play at the California Santa Barbara College Stadium next year. They were originally going to be League One. They took the rights from Memphis 901 and, they bought them, and now, they're going to be in Championship. But it's interesting how these USL teams are getting into those pockets of those areas between the big cities of the MLSs, where, San Diego's got a team now, the LA Galaxy and the LAFC in the LA area, obviously, and then San Jose. But you're starting to fill in those pockets and make things interesting. The question is, can USL fill in a little more spots to cut down travel for some of these squads, But it's interesting how California is starting to shape out with all these pro clubs.
Another note on the press release from USL regarding this Santa Rosa announcement. This initial phase will consider key factors and address several questions, including funding models and identifying a suitable stadium location, which is yet to be determined. So this is very early stage stuff, but like you said, it might be ripe for a team there. Yep. So getting as large as 11 California-based pro teams, and if the rapid expansion of American soccer continues, I know when we get into these types of conversations of what's Pro Rel going to look like in the USL structure when they add more tiers, could the lower tiers become regional? And with all these pro teams in California, you could kind of hypothesize that California could have its own division.
Yes, very much so. And like I said, it'd be interesting to see with the pockets and the talents. Like a lot of in that Santa Rosa, Northern California area, you got clubs like San Jose Academy, RSL Academy, some of the Midwest academies here, Columbus and Cincy try to pull players from Northern California. Philly goes in there. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people going in there to pull kids from Northern California. So it'll be very interesting to see how this all shakes out and what happens. But I like it. It's a small community. It's good for the game. I like how, like we've seen with Wrexham, a soccer team like that in a community can build up, local business and build up the community. And I think it's a great thing they're doing there. So I'm all for it. I like small communities having, pro soccer teams to see, how it works with the community, expands, and makes the community better. So.
Yeah, and I don't think that's just like a platitude or a cliche about the soccer teams affecting the community. Like, while I'm not like an expert on Antelope Valley, California, I can't imagine there is a whole lot of dates on the calendar that brings that community together for a singular event like that. And different areas across the country where we're seeing, things pop up. FC Naples in Florida, for example, like how many collective things do they have to come together and have shared experiences for? So communities looking to come together. And then, bringing it back to California, I brought up Mike Thomas, subscriber and member of the MK Ultras. So you can get a membership to the channel. Mike, you get one of the perks, you get your comments up on the screen. He talks about Eugene, Boise, Spokane, Santa Rosa, Avialta already having a nice little pocket out west. And he also adds the addition that opens the door for other teams as well. Because, I mean, we're talking about travel and that being a burden, obviously, whenever we talk about American soccer and expansion and all that. So, adding more teams in the area will only like create a little bit of momentum. Like, oh, there's already a couple teams here. Maybe if we get into this, we could just play our teams locally. So the expansion of the American club game continues with the announcement of Santa Rosa, California. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed yet, click the button. Just hit the subscribe button. You'll join the MK Ultras. We crashed through the 2,000 barrier. Let's hit 2,500 rapidly. Let's do that. And then if you want to go a step farther, get a membership, and just for a few smackaroos, you can get access to multiple perks, bonus content, and you get your comments on the screen regardless. And I'm sure we'll be adding more to those memberships as we build that out. If you want to follow along on social media, at MKickaround on X, Instagram, and Blue Sky. You can, I didn't say this at the beginning of the show, you can also find us as a podcast. Search your favorite audio platform for the Morning Kick Around and take us on the go in audio format. And there's also another place to become a member, coffee.com/Morning Kick Around.